Hello to my wonderful, beautiful family of light and love, compassion and wisdom, and tremendous courage in these days of upheaval. Thank you for being on the planet with me at this time, and thank you for joining me on my channel. Today, I want to have a conversation with you about forgiveness and holding on to anger, resentment, all of the things that would cause an individual to be upset, to hang on to, maybe being lied to, cheated, somebody stole something, and it is not something that is easily, whatever it is that's taken place, is not easily forgiven. And so let's first talk about what happens when something happens to us that is worthy, we think is worthy of our hanging on to it, and that can be a betrayal. And that was in my most recent video that we talked a little bit about what happens when we're betrayed. So, let's talk about what happens to us when we're betrayed. We are holding on to anger, resentment. It basically does several things, including taxes our health. It depletes our adrenals. It robs us of joy. It robs you of being your true, authentic self. Those kinds of things keep you from fully expressing the love and happiness and freedoms that you would otherwise be expressing. You can't really fully express your love, and when you can't express your love, you really lose a big chunk of yourself and your ability to enjoy life, to share with others. There's always something being held back. You are stressed. You can be worried and anxious and not even really know or understand the reasons why. You can feel bad about yourself and think that you're not worthy, not talented, unable to really step up or step out for fear of retribution. So there's all kinds of things that go on in the body and mind as a result of holding on to whatever you're holding on to that doesn't let you take the steps forward. I think that one of the major things is that you never will feel fulfilled. There's an unsatisfying part of your life that is always looking to be filled up, healed. The wounds can be very deep, profoundly deep. I know several individuals who have wanted to commit suicide, and they were so severely depressed. And, whatever kept them from taking those tragic steps is an inner compass, an inner guidance. And sometimes the encouragement and love of others is what lifts one out of that abyss. So, you're ultimately, what I'm speaking about here is ultimately we are, because I've been there, robbing ourselves of the freedom to be who we really are, to step up into our full potentials, to express our love and joy and passions. There's always a piece of us that is an empty, like an empty shell. And you may I've fooled many an individual in my life just by, forging and muscling my way ahead through things. But internally, there was always something that just felt like a hole that could not be filled. No amount of gaining at work, gaining money, prestige, accolades, whatever it is, there's a hole there. It's like a bottomless pit. You can call it a money pit if you'd like, because we sink all kinds of, it causes people to drink, do drugs, maybe you become a sex addict, whatever it is that you're attempting to use to fill that hole. Some people smoke, and I call that a smoke screen. It's trying to hide behind something. Others are heavy and have a barrier between them and a fulfilling life. So that is really kind of the gist of what happens when we hang on to anger, resentment, being hurt, being lied to, and not allowing ourselves to forgive, to move on. We are, in fact, betraying ourselves. You know that I believe with every bit of who I am that we are more than we think we are. We're very, very powerful beings that are connected with that something bigger that's out there, bigger than you or me, that's got our backs, that's working on our behalves, and that's the reason that we're here. We came into this existence, you and I, there's no exception. It doesn't matter whether you know it or not, and I didn't know it, but I've come to that knowing. There's things I'm pretty certain about, and that's one of them, is that you're with me and we're in good company. We may not like each other, but we're still sharing this planet together, and we are doing our best, our utmost best, you and I, to have a wonderful life here upon the earth, and doing our best that we know how to do that. So when we're holding back and robbing ourselves of joy and a full expression of who we are as sparks of the divine, pieces of the divine, the genetic code and structure that's within us is got the gene that is the God code within us. So even though you may be looking at me and seeing the physical person, if you could see beyond that, you would see the energy field around me. You would see it around yourself. You can see it around trees. There isn't anything, nothing, there is no thing on this planet that isn't comprised of energy, and you are one of the few things here that has awareness, and you can become more aware of that. So you're becoming aware that you are more than you think you are, that you have this genetic makeup that is beyond your physical structure and goes into something that you can't see, but you know it's there. You may be awakening to that fact, and when you awaken that fact, more things things will occur that will reinforce that knowing, so that you gain the understanding, a better understanding and knowledge base that lets you know you are capable of some pretty powerful and amazing things. So if you're living a life that isn't completely fulfilling, that has you holding back, that you've created barriers and limitations around you, and it's partly because you're not wanting to forgive whatever has taken place, whoever has harmed you. And they may not even be here. You may be in a whole different part of the world. You might be in a different neighborhood. You might be out on a platform on the ocean, for all I know. Nevertheless, anything that you carry with you that contains anger, resentment, fear, things that are tied to being harmed, betrayal, for one, is it impossible to forgive that? And the answer is really up to you, because it impacts your health. Your cells of your body respond to your thoughts. And when your thoughts are holding on to barriers for you having a fulfilling and happy life, then it means that they contain thoughts that are suppressing the full expression of who you are and robbing you of that joy. So it depletes, stress is one of the biggest things that depletes your adrenals and depletes your health. And so the health may not be completely satisfactory or where you want it to be. It limits your thoughts, and you may believe that there's no way in hell you could ever forgive somebody for whatever they have done to you. And the fact of the matter is, that's a thought. That's an old limiting thought, a belief, a pattern, a habit that is not in keeping with who you truly are, the truth of your divine nature. And it is a thought, and as such, you are the master of your thoughts. You control your thoughts. You're in charge, not the thought. And the thought may have been with you, as it had been with me for 20 years or more, and for different things. It's been off and on during my life that I've had to face this particular situation of not wanting to forgive and realizing that the person I was harming the most was myself. The other person, they may have been deceased and gone on to a better life for themselves, and the harm is still, you are perpetrating that. Your thoughts are perpetrating that upon your body, your mind, and your spirit. Your spirit is receiving barriers to getting through, because your spirit, your soul knows the truth that you are only love, pure loving, unconditional love. And unconditional means that there are no conditions. It means that anger has nothing to do with whatever you think or who you are. That resentment has nothing to do with who or what you think you are. You are divine potential looking for a way to express itself in love and joy. And when you do that, you reclaim your self. You reclaim who you are. And you might have to step back and take a thought about that. But when resentment is no longer part of the picture and you are enjoying life, you are more free to express your love. You're more free to just express the joy that is within you. You're more free to experience and search for the happiest path you can walk. You become free to and are open to new things and new possibilities and potentials for yourself. And believe me, the part of you that you can't see that has guidance attached to it is constantly trying to get your attention and to say to look over here, look over here, look over here. The biggest thing that happens when we say, I forgive you, is that the freedom to choose becomes a part of who you are. And right now, when you're holding on to something that limits you, there's no freedom in that. It's restricting the expression of your God gene, the God code that's within you. So how do you go about reclaiming your true, authentic self and forgiving? And the first thing to manifesting or creating for yourself the person that you want to be is to, I like to think of it as inspiration. It's inspire, it means that it comes from within. Your inner guidance says forgiveness will free up a whole new life, a whole new path, a whole new world of potentials for your expression. So when you make the choice to forgive, write it down. Just write the word down. You don't have to say, I forgive so-and-so. I don't have to forgive this situation. I do not have to forgive anything. Just write the word down and begin writing it once. And the next day, write it 10 times. And the day after that, 10 times. And the day after that, 15, 20, 25. Until you can comfortably, once a day, for a year, if that's what it takes, once a day, till you are comfortable with the word itself. Just become comfortable with the word, and that can prickle you. I remember a Louise Hay, her book, You Can Heal Your Life, really altered my life back in the 70s and early 80s when I became diligent about the lessons within it. And there's a saying, look in the mirror into your eyes, and she says, say the words, I love myself, I accept myself, I respect myself, and I approve of myself. In the infinity of life where I am healthy, whole and complete, just as I am. You do not require validation for who you are, what you've been through, the path that you've walked, and where you are in this moment is someone who has free will, freedom to choose. And if you're willing and wanting to choose something better for yourself, then begin with forgiveness. And I remember saying that the first time. I've always liked myself, but I tell you what, I looked in the mirror into my eyes and I started to cry. I didn't believe it. Although I liked myself, I couldn't say I love myself and believe that. It took 3 or 4 months before I didn't have tears spilling down my cheeks. So it may not be easy, but your subconscious part of you, that when you repeat something, when you're talking to the cells of your body, you're talking to the core of your being, you're talking to your mind and telling it that you are in charge, not it. Whatever it's been thinking, you have to be consistent so that it knows you mean business. So write down the word forgiveness, then speak it out loud. I forgive myself. Start there. I forgive myself. You may not even know what you're forgiving yourself for, but at this point I'll tell you it's for what I call error thinking. In no way, shape, or form are you someone who would harm another being, anything human on this planet, any animal, plant. You are a good steward. You came here to be that, to bring peace and joy and truth and harmony, really to bring heaven to earth. Bringing heaven to earth. Wow, that's a big thought. We'll explore that more in another video, but what I'm suggesting is that by writing it down and then by saying it out loud, you don't have to believe it. Your mind can say, yeah, that's a crock of blah, 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 but the truth of it is, you're in charge. Just keep saying it, repeat it. And what happens is there will come a point where you'll say, why am I bothering with this? And you're bothering with it because you are changing an old limiting belief, pattern, or habit. You're in charge. You are the only one who can do that for yourself. And you are truly doing it for yourself. And you won't believe the wonders that will occur as a result of that. So you've had this thought that maybe it's time for you to move on. You don't even know what that looks like or what it means. You've decided to write the word forgiveness down, and you started off with once a day, and maybe you're at day 5 and you're writing it down 5 times. Forgiveness, I forgive, I forgive, I forgive. And then at day 10, you're writing it down 10 times. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. And you may still not know what that means. And at day 30, you might be writing it down 10 or 20 or 30 times. But I promise you, you're going to start believing it. You're going to start believing it. That at this point, you have told yourself that you have faith that this is happening. It's real. It's happening. You're overcoming whatever the obstacle was. And the obstacle to your happiness is no longer standing in front of you. I like to think of it as you have moved it off to the side or even behind you. It's no longer an obstacle in front of you. It's no longer the big barrier. So you have chosen forgiveness, and that's the biggest piece of what I want to share with you today. How do you overcome whatever has happened to you and forgive it so you can move on? Is a choice. It's the choice that you make. That you're choosing to reclaim your true authentic self. You're choosing to claim your joy. You're choosing to claim your freedom of expression. And that's a loving, joy-filled, peaceful, adventuresome, courageous person. And you are reclaiming your freedom. You are no longer bound by a thought, pattern, or habit. And this rule, if you want to call it that, or principle maybe is a better way to look at it. This principle applies to everything in your life. When you make a choice, understand that your body will respond in kind. Everything is energy. You're putting a new energy into your body, and that body is going to express itself out into the earth, and will like attracts like as you begin expressing more love and joy, freedom, peace, and harmony. That is what you will attract into your life. Like attracts like. You're an energy being of light and love, truth, peace, and harmony, joy, compassion, kindness. I can go on and on. Reclaim who you are. Reclaim your good health. Have a mind that's filled with positive, inspiring, uplifting thoughts, and your spirit will realize that you are now listening, and it will feed you more. It will feed you more and more and more. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you take a little bit of this with you and are able to practice. Bring it into some form of practice into your life so that you can reclaim the truth of who you are and your joy. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for sharing this earth walk. It's so wonderful to be in company of adventuresome, courageous individuals who are learning a happier, healthier walk upon the planet. Thank you for giving it a thumbs up, sharing with your friends, subscribing. My website is listed below, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me in one of the ways that you'll see is available to you, including the comment section here. Have a wonderful day, freedom to choose, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. I love you this much. You can't see the ends because it goes all the way around the earth. See you next time.